It's not her fault. Michael, it's my fault. I failed you. Please let her go. Please.
Hello there, everybody. I'm John.
I'm Justin.
And we're
Gore Goblins,
the show where we talk about horror movies that we love.
Some we don't.
And some we probably haven't seen yet. And we just got done watching Rob Zombie's Halloween. Oh boy.
I did not hate it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay. So this one came out in 2007. It came after a bunch of troubled production for the next one. Because as we all know, Resurrection wasn't great.
It was garbage.
That's being...
It was fucking garbage.
Okay, well, yeah, it wasn't great, like I said. And it went through, and after a bunch of stuff that I'll explain in a little bit, it was eventually given to Rob Zombie, and he decided to just make a reimagining of the original. So there's not really a lot like going on plot-wise. It's super different. Spoilers, obviously, because we'll talk about the stuff that is different and stuff that we liked and stuff that we didn't really like. But we'll get into that soon. But first, as we go, I want to go over the production history. That's what I want to do because boy, did this fucking movie take a long time to get made. So, after Resurrection came out, there were a bunch of different ideas. So, a year after Resurrection came out, Freddy vs. Jason came out, right? Everybody loved that. Well, I don't know about that, but everybody, enough people liked it to go see it in theaters a bunch.
Liked it.
Yeah, it's great. Don't get me.
I saw a commercial on TV for it one time, and never again.
Really? Yeah, it's weird. I like Freddy vs. Jason. What I remember of it, I saw it. I remember I was in like third grade, and kids were talking about it, and I was like, "What? That's weird.
This is real?"
Yeah, this is a real thing. I didn't even know they existed. But yeah, so after that came out, they Dimension Films threw around the idea of doing a Halloween movie that somehow intersected with Hellraiser, which sounds absolutely fucking batshit, and I kind of want to see it. Just because I know it'll probably be a disaster.
I mean, if they were following the Thorn bullshit, it would have worked.
Well, yeah. Well, no, yeah. Wait, no. It was going to be on H2O's continuity, so it was. It wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the idea was going to be. I think they even got. Who was it? Hold on. Let me see this. It's not that they got. Yeah, no. They actually got Barker to like write a treatment. And John Carpenter was going to direct it, or he was, he was going to be asked to direct, regardless. But Clive Barker actually wanted to write a treatment for it, and his idea was going to be, it's not so much like, Michael and Pinhead fighting each other, so much as it is the Cenobites coming after Michael, because I think Barker was going to make Michael like this sexual sadist.
The fuck?
Yeah, that was going to have opened that little puzzle box when he was a child, and that's what made him kill people. So they were going to retcon quite a bit. And I don't know, that sounds kind of neat, I guess. But like,
aside from the sexual thing.
Yeah, they were going to make him, let me see. Yeah, according to, I think, who the fuck is Doug Bradley? Is that a producer? Oh no, that's Pinhead. Whoops. That's a big mistake. I'm not editing that out. People need to know that I'm not smart. Okay. Yeah, Doug Bradley said that Clive Barker, and I quote, wasn't interested in a mano-a-mano confrontation. He was interested in finding the places where Hellraiser and Halloween landscapes might have crossed over, and that he envisioned Michael Myers as a sadomasochistic, sexual pervert and serial killer, which would be enough to pique Pinhead's interest. Knowing Clive Barker, that's probably exactly what he wanted.
That essentially would have been the same premise of him chasing Frank in the first Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, but with Michael, though. And so that was, they did a poll, apparently, online, and 52% of people said it was garbage.
Good.
And Mustafa Akkad also was like, no, I'm not doing that. And what's his name? Michael opening the Lament configuration would have had him get possessed by Samhain fleeing from hell. And that would have been what gave him his invincibility and all that shit. That's kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of dumb.
Lament.
Lament. Listen, man. I haven't seen Hellraiser yet. All right, fuck you.
I've seen all of them.
God, that's gonna be another fucking long ass franchise that we're gonna. Oh my. How many? There's like 12 of them.
I think
There's so many. God damn it! Why are there so many?
I stopped keeping track after Hellworld because that just hurt my brain.
Anyway, so another Halloween idea was called Bad Blood, which would have brought back Jamie Lloyd, and it was also going to be another Hellraiser crossover. And another one was Halloween Retribution, which would have begun with Michael getting revenge on Busta Rhymes at the beginning. And
I would have paid to see that.
And Laurie, you know, the more I thought about Resurrection, the more I was like, you know, Busta Rhymes was actually probably the only part of the movie that I like didn't hate, just because it was so like weird and out of place for him to be there, and he was just like, I don't know, goofy enough for me to like get into it. But yeah, he would have began with him killing him, which just reminds me of Scream, which then reminds me of the fact that this is Dimension Films. And they just made a bunch of Scream clones with different slasher characters.
They should have made Scream versus Michael.
That would have been. Hey, you know what? That would have been. That would have been something. I don't know. I almost said good, but then I stopped myself and thought about it. That definitely would have been something. I don't know if Wes Craven would have been down for that.
Or Ghostface versus Michael.
I mean, you know, it really is kind of disappointing that Freddy versus Jason didn't usher in like this golden era of just slasher villains fighting each other. The closest we've ever gotten to that is Terrordrome, which is that fan game, and that's it. We haven't gotten anything else, which is a fucking letdown. I'm not gonna lie. Fucking rights issues, it really ruins everything. But anyway, also in Retribution, John Tate, which was Laurie's son, and Sheriff Lee Brackett were gonna plot to kill Michael Myers in revenge for her death in the previous film. And the film would have pulled a Friday the 13th, I think. I'm probably wrong here. This false confidence is going to be my downfall. The film would have ended with Tate drowning Michael in a frozen lake, but implying that he would take his place as a murderous killer, which is kind of dumb.
That doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. There was also going to be one called Halloween Asylum, which had Michael Myers breaking free from death row.
I mean, he's essentially already done that.
And that's all it says about that one, so not much to that. Halloween The Missing Years, which would have been a prequel centered around Michael Myers returning to Smith's Grove in the early 1980s during the events of Season of the Witch, which would have been weird if that would have made that canon, I guess. I don't know. And then it would have just had like flashbacks.
Like, what the Michael doing?
Yeah, what the Michael doing? And then it would have had it would have had flashbacks revealing details about his childhood at the asylum after murdering his sister in the 1960s. So basically everything we saw in this one. And then there was going to be another script that they were working on. Mustafa and Malek, his son, were working on a story revolving around Dr. Wynn from Curse of Michael Myers. And that all came to a halt when Mustafa Akkad was unfortunately killed in a suicide bombing in Jordan in 2005. So R.I.P. to the guy that literally made this franchise.
God damn.
Like gave this franchise the money to get it made. And that's when his son Malek took over. Because I knew Mustafa was dead. I didn't know that that's how he died. And that made me real sad when I was reading through this. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so again, rest in peace to him for funding all of these movies.
Thank you for your services to
Halloween. All the ups and downs wouldn't exist without him. So, you know. But then in 2006, Dimension was like, hey, Rob Zombie, you got it. And then Rob Zombie was like, okay. he was like, all right, I'll do it. And he called John Carpenter and asked him, like, what do you want me to do, bro? Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, like, I'm doing it. Before you find out anywhere else, I wanted to tell you. And John Carpenter was like, just make it your own. And Rob Zombie did. And so I've stayed away from this movie for a long time. Like, I have gone out of my way to avoid it. I remember when this came out, I was 13. And I remember my cousin was a really big Halloween fan, right? And he was excited because he loves Devil's Rejects. Like, he's a big Rob Zombie, big Halloween fan. So this was like fucking dream come true for him, right? I'm never gonna forget him coming to my grandma's house after the movie had come out and asking him what he thought. He's like, "It fucking sucked, Jake." And I was like, "Okay." And that was like I was like, "All right." And then months later, he buys it on DVD, rewatches it, and this would have been the director's cut, which is the version we watched. And he said he liked that version a lot more. And he tried to watch it in front of my grandpa and me, and grandpa saw like 2 seconds of that opening scene where they're arguing in the Strode house, and grandpa was like, "Turn it off." He's like, I don't want to hear any of this. He's like, "It's too much swearing." He's like, I don't want to fucking watch this. And then he had to turn it off. And that was it. A similar thing happened with Jeepers Creepers when I was much younger. And my cousins tried to watch that, and my grandpa was like, "Nah, it's fucking too much, cousin. Turn it off." And that was that.
There wasn't even that much cussing.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
Jeepers
I think
Creepers.
my grandpa just saw that I was scared because I was like a baby. So, that's what I'm thinking
I watched that
happened
movie
there.
when I was 6.
Yeah, well, that's you, Justin, all right?
Like I remember I came home from school and the VHS is on a table. And my mom just said, "Oh, we bought a movie for y'all." And I'm like,
All right.
"All right." So I watched it and I'm like, "What did I just see?"
And I can't wait to hear more of that whenever we cover those movies. But so that's my history with this movie. And once I started getting into Halloween and slashers in general, I kind of avoided it like the plague, just because, like, I don't know, I don't really like Rob Zombie's movies to begin with.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I kind of think his movies are really overrated. Like, I mean, I like Devil's Rejects, but that's about it.
Like, it's not that they're overrated. It's that, like, I mean, I appreciate that he brings, like, this grindhouse element to it, which is evident in this movie a lot. But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really like, specifically with House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects and Three from Hell, I don't like that it's, like, depravity just for the sake of depravity, and also that there's no, like, real comeuppance for the Firefly family, like, at all. And it's like, because even in Devil's Rejects, spoilers for Devil's Rejects, they get to go out on their own terms, but then they don't actually die because,
money.
yeah, because money, literally, that's the whole fucking reason.
See, someone preached like House of a Thousand Corpses to me for so long, and then when I finally watched it, I was like, "This was fucking boring."
Yeah,
Like, I didn't really care for it that much.
yeah, and if we ever cover those movies, which I don't know if we will, I don't know if I want to put myself through that, but if we ever cover those movies, we'll obviously go in depth more on that. But for this movie, I did a lot of research for this one. I not only did I watch the movie with Rob Zombie's commentary to get insight on his thought process, which I think is something I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to watch the movies with the commentary on first, so that way I can, like, just have stuff to talk about, I guess. And then I also watched a 4.5-hour documentary about the filming of this movie.
What?
4.5 hours. That's what you know how, okay, in the Blu-ray collection that Justin has, it says disc 1. You know what disc 2 is? That 4.5-hour documentary. So I didn't buy it. I found it on YouTube, and it took me like 2 fucking days to watch it. But I sat through all of it, and you know what? It was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of fun watching Rob Zombie, because you can tell he's very clearly, like, passionate about it. And it covered, like, everything from pre-production and him, like, planning everything out to filming, literally day by day filming, to how the music was made, kinda. And then that was that. And I also watched all the special features, all the outtakes, alternate ending, and all that stuff, which we'll talk about in a second here.
The only thing I've seen, like, documentary wise was I've seen a documentary about Friday the 13th, but the only documentary that still sticks to me the most is the house that Elm Street built.
Oh, I need to watch that one.
You've never watched that?
I never watched that one. I gotta
That
watch
is such
that
a good documentary.
I gotta watch that one. I think you've told me about that one before.
Yeah, I have told you about
I
it.
gotta watch that one for sure, and I'll definitely do that once we start watching the Elm Street movies. I did the only other horror documentaries I've seen are 2 on Scream. I think it was Still Screaming and Scream 25 Years Later. Those are the only 2 that I've seen. Both of those are really good. And then, but for this, it's funny you mentioned Friday the 13th, because in one of the outtakes, I think it's the shot in one of the blooper reels. It's the shot where he's coming out of it's the shot where he slits Daddy Strode's throat and throws him in the house, and then he comes out wearing a Jason mask. And like as I was watching this, I was like, man, what a missed opportunity to not have Tyler Mane be Jason in the Friday the 13th reboot. Like, because he's fucking built like him. Tyler Mane plays Michael in this movie, and he's a fucking monster. He is gigantic, and it took me too long to realize that was Sabretooth, but he is gigantic. And if they ever make another Friday the 13th movie, which God willing, if Kane Hodder can't do it because he's getting up there, get fucking Tyler Mane to do it. The dude is giant. He's a fucking monster. He's like 6'7", 6'8", or he's 6'9". He's fucking tall. He's fucking tall. And there's like points in this movie where he's like breaking through doors, and he's breaking through real doors and real walls. They are not fucking fake walls. He is breaking through real shit, and it is
becomes a Kool-Aid man.
He's fucking giant, and he's just fucking this brutality, and I kind of appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie. One of my biggest things for me not watching this movie is, why are you trying to give Michael a soul? Why are you trying to make him? Why are you trying to contextualize why he's a killer? Because to me, what's scary about Michael is that you don't know why he's fucking crazy. It's just all left up to the imagination. But in watching this and hearing, especially through the commentary, I kind of get it, because like it's not so much that he's trying to give Michael a soul, so much as he's just like showing like, hey, this is the home he came from, and also. This Michael's scary without even knowing all of that shit, because he's so tall, he's so intimidating, and he's just a monster ripping through walls and doors and shit. And you know what? It was pretty good. I actually liked this a lot more.
You know what I
than
just
I thought
realized?
What?
Aside from the kid Michael being extremely dorky,
Yes, he is.
how his stepdad makes a joke about him turning into a girl and calling himself Michelle or whatever.
Yeah.
The kid is in the movie Hancock, and his name is Michelle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Real? That's hilarious. I think I might have read that actually on as a trivia thing. That's funny. That's funny. That's really good. Speaking of that opening scene, though, so in the opening scene, we get an introduction to Michael's home with his mom, played by Sherry Moon Zombie, his dad, played by William Forsythe, and then Judith. And Judith is
last name.
Yes, and Judith is there too. Whatever, I don't know her actress's name. It doesn't matter. But
she's got a great dumper.
Yeah, according to William Forsythe, that is a line that he says. He is a despicable fucking man, and he dies. But he's a despicable fucking person. He's just an asshole. And a funny thing in the commentary, Rob Zombie was talking about how like the baby they had on set to play little Lori was like always crying, and as soon as William Forsythe started yelling, the baby would just calm down. Like, and these like, so it was really hard to get the baby to cry when we needed it to cry, because for some reason it just found William's yelling soothing. He's like, I don't fucking know why. He's like, but that was a bit of trouble that we had, and yeah, he's just a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, and also the kid that plays Tommy Doyle in this, I've seen him in other movies more recently. Most recently in Licorice Pizza, actually, but
Licorice Pizza.
That's the name of a movie, and I can't remember his name. It's like Skylar. Is it Skylar Gassando? He actually auditioned for Michael, and you can watch his audition on the Blu-ray, along with a bunch of other people's audition tapes. And he wasn't a bad little Michael, but like I can't really see anybody outside of Daig. What's his name? I don't know how to say his last name. Daig Farish as young Michael, because that kid looks fucking creepy. Like he looks like, there's a part where Loomis says he has an angelic face, and I'm like, no, nah, dude, you listen, no, no. But watching those audition tapes were awkward, because half of them had to like fake orgasms, because this is Halloween, so there's going to be sex scenes. And specifically, the men had to, like, do orgasm auditions. And it was really uncomfortable. I'm just sitting here with my cat, and I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. But yeah, that stuff was really interesting to watch. But yeah, Michael is. I think he was cast well as a child, and obviously Tyler Mane. And that was the other thing that kept me from this movie was the child Michael gets like an expanded like history. I didn't think that I would care about it, and I always thought that like I don't know that it was that went against like the point of the original. And Rob Zombie, even in the commentary, keeps talking about how like he didn't want to demystify Michael, like he wanted to make him scary. And I was like, well, but yeah, but like you're explaining who he is and like what he comes from. That kind of demystifies him from the get go, right?
I mean, younger, less thinking me kind of appreciated that a little more.
I mean, no. Like now, watching it now, I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it, but like, I think you're kind of like, I'm glad he made it his own. But like for him to keep saying demystify, I'm like, I think you kind of did demystify him a little bit. But like, and explicitly he talked about how he was initially going to have Michael say his nickname for Lori at the end. He's going to call her Boo, which would have been, I guess, a double like meaning thing where he says Boo, and then she's like, oh, like haha, I get it, because Boo, haha, scary, and then like, oh, but I called you Boo. But he decided not to do that because he didn't want to demystify him. He said there were a lot of shots that he did. Like the reason he kept hiding the face when he was adult Michael was because of that. I liked that too. But yeah, I mean, I can appreciate it now. But like back in the day, I was like, nah, you can't do that. But like it's a reimagining. It's, it is what it is. And for what it's worth, it's pretty good. So, I'm okay with it. The deleted scenes, there's one shot I want to talk about because I mentioned the grindhouse thing earlier.
Yeah.
In the deleted scenes, specifically, there's a part where it's him stealing Judith's tombstone, and a groundskeeper like comes to try to stop him, and he gets his fucking throat cracked by Michael. Michael just like picks him up with one hand and just snaps his neck. But when he drops the body, there's this shot, it's in broad daylight too. When he drops the body, there's this shot where the camera just shoots up to Michael and like the sun is behind him. And like when I saw that, I actually got like really excited because I was like, that's fucking grindhouse. I'm like, that is a fucking grindhouse shot because it looks so fucking pulpy. And I was like, yes, I'm like, that is fucking awesome. Why did they take that out? Why did they take that out of the movie? And, Rob Zombie's in the commentary just like, there's just some scenes like you just don't really have a place for him. There's also the alternate ending, which I want to talk about in conjunction with the theatrical version of this movie because like I mentioned earlier.
I forgot there was an alternate ending.
Yes, the alternate ending. I actually kind of like the alternate ending, but there's the theatrical version and the director's cut because Rob Zombie decided to do the auteur way. He decided to go that way and make it to where you could only watch the director's cut on home video. I think you can get the theatrical cut from like a Blu-ray in Canada, which again, shout out to James and Chelsea at Dead Meat because I watched their video on on the cut comparisons for this movie. And I'm gonna do the same thing in Halloween 2. But
Yeah, I've never seen the theatrical version.
yeah, the theatrical version trims a lot of the fat. It adds in more character stuff specifically for Laurie's parents. It adds in that weird trick or treat title card in the middle of the movie. It adds in a couple lines with Loomis to make him seem like less of a prick, which we'll talk about that later.
I mean, you said the theatrical adds this.
Oh yeah, no, the extended version adds this. I'm sorry, forgive me, but no, the theatrical version doesn't have any of that. The extended cut is the one that has all of that. But like for the most part, all the killings are the same. The ending's the same. The biggest difference, the most egregious difference, in my opinion, is a change in how Michael escapes. So in the movie, in the theatrical cut, the way Michael escapes is there's a scene that was deleted where he gets denied parole and they're going to send him to a maximum security like prison, right? They're going to take him out of the sanitarium and send him to the prison. That scene was cut, but that was all going to be like expository dialogue in this scene where 4 security guards were supposed to be getting him on a transport to be sent to that maximum security prison, and one of the people was Bill Moseley. So his cameo was just cut from for the director's cut, which kind of sucks because I like Bill Moseley. But he's one of the cops, and Michael just kind of goes crazy, and he breaks through his fucking handcuffs somehow, like with no effort. He breaks through his handcuffs and just kills everybody. I think he slams one dude's head against the wall a bunch. He gets somebody to shotgun somebody else. He rips somebody's throat out. And he does all that, and then it plays out the same. He kills Ishmael and all that. All that plays out the same. But that's the initial incident that starts the escape. In the director's cut,
I would have massively preferred that from what we get.
In the director's cut, what's his name? Lou Temple plays a piece of shit fucking guard opposite Danny Trejo, who plays the only person that was good to Michael,
aside from his mother.
Aside from his mother, in the sanitarium, and he's just a fucking disgusting person. He's a piece of shit. And in the director's cut, he gets drunk with his cousin, I guess, who works the graveyard shift at the asylum. And they pull out a woman from that's supposed, I guess, like a new housing woman.
Yeah, she just got there.
And for some fucking reason, so they not only did Rob Zombie feel the need to reinsert a scene. Because this is what he originally filmed for this. That escape scene that was in the theatrical cut was for reshoots. That was all reshot. And the ending that exists in both the theatrical and director's cut was also a reshoot. So he in the director's cut, he reinserts this scene where they rape this poor woman. But they don't just rape her. They rape her in Michael's room, which doesn't make sense to me. Because why would you... He's fucking 7 feet tall. Why would you do that? Why would you... it's bad enough you're doing that. But then why in Michael's fucking room? And that's the inciting incident. Michael gets mad that they're fucking with his masks. And he kills both of them. And then everything else plays out the same. Where Ishmael comes in and gets fucking killed.
Well, he slaughters every other guard.
Yeah, he kills all the guards. He kills all the guards. Which I think... The guards, the bodies that Danny Trejo finds, I think, are killed in a deleted scene. No, they aren't killed. There's a deleted scene where he knocks out a couple of other guards and actually leaves the facility before he fights Big Joe Grizzly. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the rape scene. It's weird. Rob Zombie, like I said, that's like what feels the most Rob Zombie out of everything else in this fucking movie, is that he just wants to be depraved for no fucking reason. And his reasoning is, well, I want it to be terrifying. Like I want it to be
there's a lot of
horrible.
Unnecessary sexual overtone in this movie too.
Yeah, and a lot in the dialogue. And I'll talk about that too. But like I appreciate his eye for making things look horrifying in an unconventional way when it comes to the murders, but the rape isn't really done in an unconventional way. It's just kind of happens, and I don't like it. But specifically when Michael kills the nurse, and it's the CCTV footage, he's like, because he's like, what really freaks you out in real life is when you see like somebody get shot in a fucking gas station on CCTV footage. Like that's disturbing, right? He's like, so I wanted to emulate that. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
kind of true.
I like that.
I have seen those videos and it's like, God damn.
Yeah, it's because it's not even that it's bloody or anything. It's just like, oh fuck, like
that happened.
Like that's rough. Yeah, and so like I appreciate stuff like that. There's other aspects of the movie that I appreciate that I'll talk about later, especially when we talk about like the kills and stuff. But yeah, that rape scene is just fucking unnecessary. I don't know why, and I know there's something like that in Halloween 2 as well, and I'm not excited to watch it for that reason. Also for other reasons, but there's
a lot of reasons to not be excited about Halloween 2.
But that scene, like really like. What he shot for the theatrical version is just a much better scene. Not only do we get like fun banter between the guards, like I think one of the guards, they're all played by like veteran like horror actors too. I can't remember the names of the other ones, but the only one I remember like vividly is Bill Moseley. and like they're joking about like eating donuts and shit and talking about like just it's just fun banter, and then Michael fucking kills all of them, and you like actually feel bad that he kills all of them because the dialogue that he wrote beforehand was really really good. But let's talk about that for a second. The dialogue. What do you think of the dialogue, Justin?
I mean, there are good moments. Rob Zombie's strength is not writing. I'll say that. I mean, he just, like you said, he just has a gross way about it, and that's his thing, I guess. That's fine, but I mean, if it wasn't for how good Michael is portrayed in this movie,
Yeah,
I wouldn't like hold it as high as I do.
that like Tyler Maine's portrayal really is like the highlight of this movie for me. But yeah, the dialogue is rough.
You got Lori fucking a biscuit with her finger.
Bagel.
A bagel.
Yeah. And I do like Dee Wallace's line about it later. She's like, I'm still upset about the whole bagel thing, if you really want to know. Dee Wallace is fantastic in this movie as Laurie's mother, by the way. Love her. And the guy that plays her dad. I can't remember his name right now.
Whoever he was.
But yeah, there's that. And I mean, there's also...
Every other sentence is something sexual.
Yeah, there's that very explicit dialogue when the kid from Spy Kids is bullying little Michael, and he's like,
heard your sister got caught giving blowjobs in the bathroom.
yeah, and it's like really disgusting.
They had to pump the cum out of her
Yeah,
stomach.
like he accentuates it, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, and so like the thing, I'll give Rob this, okay? Because in the commentary, he's like, he's like a lot of people complain about the dialogue in this movie, and like specifically with the kids, like why do the kids like talk the way they do? And he's like, I don't know, man. I went to junior high. And this is what the kids talk like. And you know what? He's right. He's absolutely fucking right.
He is.
I said some heinous shit in junior high, and I knew kids that said some heinous... I'm sorry, Mom. And I knew kids that said some heinous shit in junior high, okay? I probably said stuff that bad, if we're being honest. But, like, it's, like, weird to hear it now as an adult, because I'm like... Do you know what? That's right. We did talk like that, didn't we? Because Rob Zombie said, because when you're a kid, like, you just want to say the most disgusting, shocking shit you can fucking think of. So that's why I wrote it that way.
I had that thought because I mentioned to you I watched The Black Phone the other day.
Yeah.
And it's a movie about kids getting kidnapped and shit, which, I mean, I recommend going in and see it. It's a nice little movie. But anyways.
We'll probably cover it too.
I was thinking, man, these kids are cursing a whole lot. And I was like, is it really necessary? And then I thought back, I did curse that much when I was a kid.
We still do, Justin.
I mean, but as younger.
No, like, that's the other thing. Because I remember when it came out, and everybody was like, why are the kids cussing? And I'm like, do you not know what it was like to be a kid? Like, we all did it. We all did it, man. So yeah, but, like, I can understand it for that. And then I guess for Ronnie, fucking Deborah Myers' boyfriend, who's just an amalgamation of like the worst possible dads that me and all my friends didn't have. So it's like just a really bad, he's a fucking terrible person, and he says some like really vulgar, weird shit too. And then you have like the dialogue between Linda, who once again says totally a bunch. God bless. And she's played
she only
by...
said it twice.
She said it a few times, like at least 4. I want to say 4. Who plays her? Fucking... I'm finding it. Christina Kleb. Kleb? You know what? I don't know. But she did a good job. I liked her, actually, as Linda.
She wore a Slayer shirt.
She did wear a Slayer shirt. It was a Rain and Blood shirt, because I guess she's basic. I don't know. If she was a real fan, she would have worn a South of Heaven shirt or a Seasons of the Abyss shirt. But no, I guess fucking Rain and Blood. I'm sorry.
Fucking fake metal.
Fucking, yeah, name 3 songs off that album. Anyway, no. I liked her. Laurie Strode is played by Scout Taylor Compton, and she's all right. It's a different portrayal than...
I was gonna say it's a different Laurie.
It's very different Laurie. Because Jamie Lee Curtis is a very she's almost a prude, and this one isn't. Because of the aforementioned bagel fingering. And then Danielle Harris, our little Jamie Lloyd, is all grown up as Annie Brackett, my favorite girl in both of these movies. Annie Brackett. I love Annie. She didn't deserve what happened to her in either movie, but you know what?
At least she lived through this one.
Yeah, but she doesn't in the next one, so she doesn't deserve that either. But Danielle Harris comes back. She was 29 when this movie was made, and that is insane because she still looks like she's like fucking 17 in this movie. She still looks very young. And so those are the three main girls again. And their dialogue is super vulgar too, especially fucking Linda's. Especially Linda's.
With her whole cheerleader story.
Her whole cheerleader story about like, I don't know, showing Snatch or some shit. I don't fucking, oh my God. This fucking movie. Anyway, so like that, the weakest thing about this movie for me, and I think I can speak for Justin here, is probably the dialogue.
Yeah.
Like that's the best parts of this movie come from the way the violence is portrayed and just like how unsettling Michael is. And just different there are different moments that I really fucking like in this movie. Like one of the things is after Michael kills everybody as a kid, and there's like that shot where it's that panning shot, and everybody's like the scene's frozen except for Michael when he turns and looks at the camera. That's a cool ass shot. That's fucking awesome. Love that. I love the scene I talked about earlier that was deleted with the grindhouse ass fucking camera pan. I loved a lot of the fucking shots in this movie that we'll talk about more with the kills, but like, yeah, it's very well shot. And that's something that I was worried about is like, man, what if it's just like fucking boring? It's not. it's definitely not. I definitely wasn't bored, although it does kind of feel a little long. Just a little bit though. It's not like it feels too long, but it does feel a little long. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the cast again because this cast is just like full of like very recognizable faces from if you're like a horror aficionado, especially. We got Malcolm McDowell as Sam Loomis, which
fuck the Loomis in this movie.
Yeah, Justin does not
fuck him so bad.
Does not like Samuel Loomis. Malcolm McDowell plays him very well, mind you, but this Loomis is
a piece of shit.
He's just an asshole. So like Donald Pleasance was, I don't think he didn't care about Michael either because obviously he was like, he's fucking evil. He's a piece of shit. You can't save him. Like, and he always believed you cannot save him. Don't try. But Donald Pleasance's whole thing, his Loomis was, he basically just got more and more insane as the movies went on. And that's something Rob Zombie talks about too in the commentary and in the behind the scenes stuff. And, but he also like very, very like, generalizes it down by saying like, but all he really did in any scene in that original was just come in to say something profound and then leave. And I'm like, I don't think that's all his character was for in the first one, but go off. Just go off.
He was the only one who believed Michael was what he was.
Yeah.
Everyone else just thought it was a joke.
Which you get a little bit of that in this one between Loomis and Brackett, but like then you find out that Brackett's like, no, I know who you are.
Well,
like,
that's all coming from the fact that Loomis wrote that fucking book.
Yeah,
in
Loomis,
this one.
Yeah, so in this one, Loomis writes a book called like The Devil's Eyes, which is a nice
plasters Kid Michael's face on the cover of it and sells it to make money.
And he sells it, and like that's Brackett's point is like you're making money off of this monster, and basically saying you're the fucking monster, dude. Like this dude killed people, and you're just making all this money off of it, which is probably a commentary on like specifically something like Vincent Belosi writing Helter Skelter about the Manson murders. Which I have that book up there somewhere. Oh, also I have the Michael Myers mask from this movie. I think it's behind that blue bag on that top shelf over there. It's probably dusty as shit. I don't want to pull it out because I will sneeze. But I remember I wanted to go as Michael Myers for Halloween when I was like, I want to say 15, because we weren't even going to go trick-or-treating. It was just to like, we were taking like a younger, I think my little cousin we were taking, and I wanted to go as Michael Myers. So we got that mask because they didn't have the original mask. And I remember I found a mechanic's outfit, but it had short sleeves. And I remember my cousins kept making fun of me because they're like, "Oh, it's casual Mike," like, and that was a fun time. That was a fun night. But I got that mask up there somewhere. But I think that's the first movie. I don't think it's the second movie mask because the second movie mask is like all fucked up. But
it's stupid.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, Malcolm McDowell plays his role very well. He's a piece of shit though. And yeah, I don't necessarily hate his characterization, and there is a hint that like he actually gives a shit, at least a little bit, but there's only like 2 lines, It's the line when he's like, "Oh, take care, Michael," and then he like looks back as he's walking away, and then it's the line where he says, "No, Michael, it's not her fault. It's me. I failed you." Like I like that. I like that line specifically a lot.
I just don't believe it.
But that's the thing is, especially with the second movie, you think that he's full of shit because he probably is. And then Sheriff Brackett, who I mentioned earlier, is played by none other than Brad Dourif, which is absolutely hilarious to me because I talked about how the guy in the last movie was basically doing a Brad Dourif impression, and then Brad Dourif's in this movie as Sheriff Lee Brackett, and I think he's good. I really like Brad Dourif in this movie. He acts very well, especially when he finds Annie's body. He talked about
Annie?
Yeah, Annie, baby, honey, and he's like, but like, it's just his inflection that kind of like makes me like chuckle. I know it's supposed to be really serious, and I feel like an asshole. Trust me, but he's a great actor. And he talked about in the special features, and I think they were interviewing him, and he was like, yeah, he's like, scenes like that are hard to do because he's like, I have daughters. He's like, so I had to like picture that, who's and it was just a real tough scene to do. And his daughter is Fiona Dourif, and I love her, and I can't wait to talk about the Chucky movies because I love her in those movies especially. But that's a story for another day. We'll talk about that later. But
have you watched the Chucky series?
No.
Okay.
You already told me though. I already know. Okay. Anyway, he's Sheriff Brackett. He's great. Tyler Mane, as we mentioned, does a great job as Michael Myers. Sherry Moon Zombie is Deborah Myers. She's fine, I guess. I don't know. Like,
it's just another Rob Zombie. Like, here's my wife.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I appreciate that he tried to push her out of her comfort zone and get her to act in like I guess in a more serious role. But like, it didn't feel entirely convincing to me. But that's because all I see when I see Sherry Moon Zombie is Baby Firefly. So like, which is just Harley Quinn, if we're being honest. So like, it's very hard for me to like see her and take her seriously. But I think she did fine. I don't think she was like his mom's like
some of her line deliveries are kind of weird too.
Yeah, like when she's yelling at the principal, that was weird. When I do like the part where where she's at the asylum and little Michael's like, "Hey, mommy, how's everybody at home doing?" And she kind of like gets this look on her face. It's like real subtle, but like I was like, "Yo, that's good. Like that's really good." And then she's just like, "They're all fine, honey." And I'm just like, "Ooh, that's rough. That's a rough one." I like it, in all the asylum scenes. She does pretty well. She's great at screaming. She's good at that. She does a lot of that in this movie. And she works at, the Rabbit in Red, which was the name of the club that the matchbook came from in the first Halloween.
I didn't catch that.
And she's a stripper because, Rob Zombie's like, "Hey, my wife's hot. Isn't that cool?" And that's what he made her a stripper for no fucking reason. And Sherry Moon, like, even talked about, like, how, like, it was kind of weird for her to have to film those scenes. But she's like, well, she's like, we all know each other here, so it's fine. Ha. And I'm just like, wow, this is weird. Like, I feel like I'm like intruding, like hearing this. I feel like I'm intruding. Also, it was funny to see, not just in the blooper reel, but in the behind the scenes in general, Rob Zombie kept like complaining because Malcolm McDowell would like just go off script, like way off script, and just make Sherry laugh a bunch. And then there's a part where he's talking to Big Mike in the sanitarium before he escapes, and they're showing the shot that's on Tyler. And, he's like dead faced behind the mask, and you just hear Malcolm McDowell making all these jokes. And you see Tyler just like try not to laugh, and then he just like smiles, and he's like trying to hold it in, and you just hear Rob go, "Malcolm, come on, man, just shut the fuck up. We need to get it done. Like we need to get stop fucking joking. We need to get this done." And Malcolm's like, I'm sorry. I will do it right next time, And it's just so funny that like it's funny to see Tyler Mane just fucking like try not to laugh. But yeah, so Sherry Moon Zombie is that. William Forsythe was Ronnie White. I already mentioned that. Richard Lynch, a B-movie staple. The late Richard Lynch is in this movie as the principal that pulls little Michael by the hair because little Michael says "fuck you." By whatever, it looked like his hair. All right, and that they added the director's cut adds an extra little bit of dialogue where whenever Michael says "fuck you," in the theatrical cut, he just takes him by the shirt. in the director's cut, that's when he's like, "Fuck me," and I'm just like, "Whoa."
I'll show you.
Yeah, and then he just takes him. He just takes him away. Udo Kier is an actor that I recognize from My Own Private Idaho, which is really weird to see him in this. But he's that German guy. He's the German guy that was like, Haddonfields is 100 miles away. And like Malcolm McDowell kept calling him Hitler on set. I'm not even joking about that. He kept calling him a Nazi. Clint Howard, Ice Cream Man. Clint Howard, the legend. I love Clint Howard. He's in this too as one of the other doctors in the asylum. I like him in this one. He kept complaining to Rob about the fact that he had to say fuck a bunch because like he was like, my wife's gonna watch this movie, Rob. He's like, she's not gonna.
What you're worried about?
She's not gonna like that. She's not gonna like me saying fuck. like
She's not gonna like the movie entirely, dude.
yeah, probably not. Daddy Trejo is Ishmael. Lou Temple's the piece of shit. Bill Moseley was in this. It's sad that he's not, he's not in the director's cut because I love Bill Moseley. And Hannah Hall was Judith Meyer's actress. Yeah, I guess she did. She was fine, I guess. I don't know. And then that's pretty much... Oh, Sid Haig. How could I forget? Sid Haig plays the role... it's Chester Chesterfield is his character's name. And when he was interviewed for it, he started laughing and he's like, still cracks me up. R.I.P. Sid Haig. I love Sid Haig, but but he's got a little small part in this movie. He plays, I guess, he's one of the groundskeepers. I think he's like the head groundskeeper, and he's like showing Loomis where the Myers grave is, and you have that bit of dialogue where he's talking about like, yeah, I think the doctor that handled the Myers case, he wrote a book about it. And then Malcolm McDowell's like, yes, it was a masterpiece. I read that. But can you just show me where the grave is? And I like that line a lot. But yeah, the cast is stacked. They all do really well for the most part, I think. Danielle Harris, like I said, she's really good in this. She was very happy to come back to the franchise. She actually auditioned for Laurie. You know who else auditioned for Laurie that I just remembered? Emma Stone. And that is weird to me, to imagine that Emma Stone could have been in this fucking movie. I love Emma Stone, so, I wouldn't have been opposed to it. But, like, I just can't picture it. And like, I don't know, man. But when I read that, I was like, really? That's weird. That's weird. But Scout Taylor Compton was always the first choice, according to Rob Zombie. And yeah, Danielle Harris jumped at the chance to come back. She was real happy. She also talked about how because they were hesitant at first because they were like, it's Jamie Lloyd. Who cares? Like,
I care.
But at this point, Danielle Harris, despite being in her late 20s, was still trying to like break out of that like kid image. So that's why she was like, I'll do all the topless scenes. I don't care. And she's like, that was kind of why I wanted to do it too, because I wanted them to know that I was willing to do more adult, stuff. Because I don't want everybody to think I'm little Jamie Lloyd forever. But all I could fucking see was Jamie Lloyd. I can't, like, there are specific shots in this, like, where she just looks like Jamie. And I can't differentiate it. It was weird.
Yeah, like you said, when she's laying there screaming Laurie, I just
Laurie!
see her. I see her in the part in 5 when she's in the coffin.
Yes, that's exactly it. When Michael's like standing over her and she's like making that crying face, I'm like, that's just Jamie. That's just Jamie, man. I can't.
But like I said, also you just got to watch other movies she's in.
I know.
Lose that image.
We'll watch Hatchet eventually, but like it's just weird. But yeah, so cast is great. All that's great. Is there anything you want to talk about, Justin, that you really liked about this movie? Because I mentioned a lot of the, I like a lot of the camera work. I like how the kills are presented for the most part. I like the overall like tone of it too. But like, what do you think, Justin? What was some of your favorite things about this?
I just like that it was very different, and that that Rob Zombie didn't try to just directly remake the first one.
Yeah,
he actually took the advice and made it his own.
Yeah,
and I do like all the changes, especially just looking at it as Rob Zombie's duo of movies. I like that he explained Michael's backstory and all that, like, and actually made it still grounded.
Yeah,
with like Michael killing animals and having a broken childhood and whatever. Because his biological father's dead. Now he has this piece of shit boyfriend, and sister's a
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, she was.
Getting bullied in school and all that shit.
I didn't like little Michael touching her before he killed her though. That was a little weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a little
Well, he's a
weird.
freak.
Yeah, but like that was still he's wearing, and it looks kind of silly because he's wearing the Halloween mask. Oh, that's another thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's another thing that like I didn't like that he tried to give. Well, it's not that I don't hate it, but like he's talking about he doesn't want to demystify Michael, but like again, you're demystifying him by explaining how he gets the mask and why he wears it. Because the reason he wears the mask that he wears, which it looks great by the way, I love how it's so nice to see the mask not look like shit after like fucking 5 movies. Oh my god! But you can't see his eyes. But it's fine because Tyler Mane's a fucking giant. So I didn't mind.
Really, most of the shots, his eyes are dark.
And his eyes are and most of the shots, his eyes are dark.
It's only when he's close up and shit.
There's also when he's choking Linda. I'll talk about that later, actually. But that's besides the point. I don't like that he explained where the mask came from because, like, I don't know. I would rather Michael just kind of grab a random mask. But like Michael in this movie is also like obsessed with masks. Like he keeps making them. But I actually like the mask that he wears when he breaks out of the asylum. That orange one, that looks fucking creepy. I like that mask a lot.
It kind of gave me like Texas Chainsaw the beginning vibes.
Yeah, it's a cool looking mask. It looks and on his fucking giant ass body, it looks cool. But yeah, I don't really like how he explained the mask, and I don't know how the fuck Michael hid a mask and knife under the floorboards, but whatever. He was 10. How the fuck did he get this? Whatever. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna think about it. But I didn't like that because, you know, he's like, I didn't want to demystify Michael too much. But like, you're doing that. You're doing that though. Like by explaining where the mask comes from, you're kind of demystifying him a little bit. Like, it didn't ruin it for me because I like this movie a lot more than I thought I would. Like, honestly. But like, you know.
He still kind of got the mask randomly because Judith's boyfriend brought it there.
Yeah, for some fucking reason. Why would you wear that?
Because he wanted to scare her while they were having sex.
Yeah, but like he said he wanted to keep it on. Like, why would you want to wear? Why? Like, why would you want to wear that? Like, this isn't Eyes Wide Shut, bro. Like, what are you doing? Fuck. Anyway, yeah, but like you said, it feels grounded, and I think that's plays to its strength.
Even with Michael's brutish strength, like that comes across as realistic because of how fucking massive he is.
Yeah,
like that makes sense.
You can believe that he could tank all the punishment he takes in this movie too.
And really, all the times they shot him, aside from the last shot that Laurie gives off, they kind of miss vital points.
Yeah, they just like hit his shoulders and shit.
Hit his shoulders, hit his kind of lower back a little bit.
Yeah, they might have hit like a kidney or something, but I mean, still.
Everything is pretty solid in this movie for me. Aside from Loomis's character, I don't really give a shit for him.
But I think his character works in this movie though. Like
it's not set in the same time period as the original either.
Yeah, this one's modern day because they all have like cell phones and shit.
I mean, brick cell phones, but
which is funny because Rob Zombie, specifically for the older scenes, he was like, I wanted to make the time period ambiguous, but like we can do the math. 15 years from 2007 is like what, in the 80s? No, that'd be like 92, 91. But he said he wanted to have like a 70s vibe. So
I didn't really get a 70s vibe.
I didn't either. I mean, Sherry's outfits were kind of 70s, and you know me, I love me some outfits. But
again, I'll mention the black phone. That had a 70s vibe in it because my mom commented that they got that perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch that one too. But what was I gonna say? One thing that Rob Zombie kept talking about as far as Michael taking all that punishment is like he kept saying like, you know, he's like, I wanted people to think like, is Michael still alive? He's like, but you know, he's not really dead. And all I could think of was that fucking trailer for Rise of Skywalker where Luke said, no one's ever really gone. And then you hear Palpatine laugh, and like it kept taking me out of it because that's all I could think of whenever he's like, you know, you don't think Michael's really dead, right? Like, and I'm just like, no, Rob, I don't. Stop saying it like that. You're making me think of something else. But
let's just take the fact that Laurie missed a point blank shot.
See, she had to have missed, right?
She missed.
Because he's
sequel. Alive.
Yeah.
That's why the mask is torn off.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I want to talk about the alternate ending. So the alternate ending for this movie is whenever Michael breaks through the window and steals Laurie from Dr. Loomis, which Malcolm McDowell's reaction to that is genuine, by the way. His Jesus Christ, what the hell? That was genuine, and Rob Zombie's like, I kept it in because it scared him. Because he broke through, like, I think it was it real glass? I think it was real glass he broke through. I think that, because there's one take where he breaks through real glass, and I think it's that one. Because Malcolm McDowell got some on a shirt. He's like, this isn't candy glass. This is real glass. What the fuck, Rob? Like, he was like, what are you doing? And Tyler Mane broke through real fucking glass to do that shot. And, or they set it up somehow, but it was real glass is my point. And he takes Laurie out, and you have that whole scene where he's like, Michael, I failed you. It's my fault. But what's different is that all the sheriff and a bunch of cops are there. And they're also there. And they weren't there in the director's cut or in the theatrical cut. In the actual ending, that they're not there. And this was the original ending before they did reshoots. And so Michael's holding Laurie, and what happens is Michael gives Laurie to Loomis, and Loomis is like, okay, Michael. And then he's like trying to keep the police calm because they all got their guns drawn. Michael still has his knife, though, and he takes a step forward, and they just blast him to shit. Like, they blow him apart. Not blow him apart. It's not like Jason lives, or
So like the Halloween 4
Jason goes
ending?
to hell. Yeah, it's like the Halloween 4 ending. He just gets shot to shit, but he, like, actually dies. And so I think that's when they were like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be it.
They use that.
That's
That's the ending in Halloween 2.
Yeah, it is kind of, isn't it? Yeah.
Except Laurie gets shot too.
Depending on which version you're
sorry.
watching, yeah. But yeah, so he gets shot up, and he dies. And Rob Zombie says in the commentary, like, you know, he's like, but after I thought about it, I realized that I didn't really like that ending. And I'm like, don't lie to me, Rob. I know the Weinsteins came up to you and they were like, hey, we want to make a sequel, bro. So just leave it open-ended. And so that's what he did. I know that's what happened. I know that's what fucking, I feel it in my feet. I know that's what happened. But that's the alternate ending. And I actually kind of like that ending a little bit more.
I don't.
Just a little bit more. I mean, I like the finality of it. You know me, I like finality in horror movies. I don't like it when they leave it open-ended, because then that's when you get shitty sequels. But yeah, that's I don't remember what I was talking about before the alternate ending, but the vibe of it, the whole vibe of the movie, how Rob Zombie wanted it to feel 70s at the beginning or something. But it's not 70s at all to me. It just feels like trailer park shit. I don't know. It just feels trashy, which I guess that's how Rob's 70s were. I don't know. maybe that's what he remembers. But yeah. Overall, I'm surprised I like this as much as I did. But we still got to talk about the kills, because there's stuff I want to talk about with that too.
So first kill.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
There's like, I think more than 20, I think.
The very first kill of the movie is poor Elvis the rat.
Yeah, he's just fucking. Well, you don't see it, but Michael's like
see it.
cleaning a bloody scalpel, and I'm just like, man, come on, kid, don't do that.
And then the next kill will be his bully, the kid from Spy Kids.
The kid from Spy Kids. there's that part where he's walking out of the school, and I like this whole sequence, by the way. He's walking out of the school, and he sees that other kid with the beanie, and he takes the beanie from him. He's like, oh, you want it back? And he spits in it and throws it away. They did so many different variations of that. My favorite one being where he sees the key, he's like, come here, man. And he just pulls the beanie over his head and fucking shoves him. And then, like, immediately he's just like, hey, man, you okay? Like, immediately he's just like, you okay, man? And like Rob Zombie, you could just hear him fucking cackling. And he's just like, did he actually fucking push that kid? He's like, he actually fucking he's like, oh my God, that is fucking hilarious. And, like, it was so funny to see him just push him. But then he's walking through these woods for some fucking reason.
Taking a shortcut home, I guess.
I guess so.
And I liked how they gave a child Michael at this time too. The standstill.
That's
scene
what I was gonna talk about. Yeah,
the trees.
through the trees. That's such a cool fucking shot. And then he surprises. He comes out behind a tree and hits him with a. I always thought when I saw the trailer for this, I thought it was a scythe, which doesn't make any fucking sense logistically, but. It looks like a scythe. It's like a weird, like, crooked branch.
Yeah.
And he hits him in the knees and just beats the shit out of him.
Just beats him to death.
And when he's like actually beating him to death and like actually killing him, you get these cool shots of like the trees. And Rob Zombie was like, yeah, I wanted to. he's like, what's scary to me is like leaving stuff to the imagination. And he's like, so I really wanted like people to like this is the last thing he's seeing, you know, is these fucking trees. He's like, and it was just B-roll footage that I just told the DP to film just in case. He's like, 'cause you never know what you're gonna use.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool, man. That's a really cool.
I mean, it worked.
Cool. Oh yeah, it's effective shit. By the way, I want to mention there's jump scares in this, but like all of them are purposeful and all of them have impact and all of them are there for. There's no fake outs. They're all meaningful. I don't think there's a single fake jump scare, which again is refreshing after H2O and Resurrection.
Yeah.
Oh my god, especially fucking H2O. Oh, so many fucking fake outs in that one. Ooh.
They were all fake outs now.
Oh my god. But yeah, and then the next kill is the Myers home, right? That's when he kills.
Yeah.
He kills Ronnie. He kills Judith's boyfriend. He kills Judith. He kills Ronnie by taping him up.
Which I don't understand.
With duct tape.
I guess just to not have him move.
Because I think he wanted him to suffer. Which, to be fair, Ronnie's a piece of shit. So I mean, I wasn't that upset.
But he was drunk too. He probably didn't feel much anyway.
Yeah. So he slits his throat after he tapes him up, and like. Daig Farish was talking about how cool it was, how like the blood would shoot out whenever he would take a breath. He's like, I don't know how they did that, but that's cool. But like, you can tell it's like a fake neck whenever he's taped up. And they just put like a regular old blood gag. All the kills are practical too. Love that. Love to see practical effects in horror movies, especially. And you know, he just bleeds him out, and he takes his mask off, and that's the last thing Ronnie sees when he dies. And then after Judith's boyfriend disappoints her, just like he did in the original. He
goes down and makes a sandwich.
He makes a sandwich.
And Michael's like, not in my house.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. He comes up with a fucking aluminum bat and just like whacks him over the head. And again, Rob Zombie talked about how you don't see him like hit him repeatedly. You just see the aftermath. And Rob Zombie said, he's like, leave it to the imagination. That's what makes it terrifying.
I love the sound impacts.
Yeah,
too.
the sound, and that's the sound design in this movie is amazing. The soundtrack in general, because they use a lot of Rob Zombie's original music in it, and it surprisingly works.
Rob Zombies?
I'm fucking John Carpenter's, and it surprisingly works.
You got Dracula playing in the background.
That would be some shit. You know, funny thing.
Oh, Super Beast. That would have been better.
Honestly, but I was thinking about this because I was thinking about how Fred Durst made a movie called The Fanatic.
Fuck Fred Durst.
It's not good. It's not a good movie. But in the movie, he wrote and directed it. In the movie, there's a part where one of the main characters is like, yo, you ever listen to Limp Bizkit? I love these guys. These are my jam when I was younger. And I'm like, Fred, you fucking, listen, it's already bad enough that I like your fucking music now, okay? Why? Why are you doing this?
That's like when he agreed to let The Undertaker use his theme song for his American Badass persona. God. He was like, I'll let y'all use it. You don't have to pay me. Just make me a character in a video game. And they did.
Why the fuck?
Fred Durst is a playable character in a WWE game.
Still here? Just to suffer. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I'm glad Rob Zombie didn't do that in this movie because it would have really taken me out of it. He could have totally had a scene
where somebody's just listening to it in the background, but he didn't. And
God bless him. Anyway, but yeah, he kills the fuck out of him. Sound design's fantastic. You really and like the camera's like real. He said like he wanted it to feel real handheld, to feel more chaotic, and it works very well in this movie, I think. And then he goes and kills Judith. First he touches her, which is weird. First he puts on the Shatner mask, which is extra weird. And then he doesn't beat the shit out of her. He stabs her in the stomach after she's like, Michael, what the fuck are you doing? Michael. Like it's all the same, like.
I like how she tried to mimic that too.
Yeah, Michael. Like she says it
right
almost
from the
exactly
original.
the same way. And then Michael just stabs her in the stomach. And
stabs her about
17 times, I
yeah.
think, is what the news reporter said. And the news reporter also says it's very Manson-like in its brutality. And I'm like, all right, Rob Zombie, I get it. You like Charles Manson. Come on. But yeah, he kills her, and then he just waits outside with the baby, and then Sherry comes up, and she's like, Michael, what happened now? And then, you know, that all happens. And we get that cool-ass shot with where it's a freeze frame. Then we go to the sanitarium for the next set of kills.
Sanitarium.
And he goes and fucking he kills a nurse who just is a bitch out of nowhere for no fucking reason.
Because Michael's mom gives him a picture of him holding Judith, or not Judith, Lori. And she's like, I thought you'd like it, blah, blah, blah. And then the nurse comes in because Loomis wants to talk to his mom.
Fucking Nurse Ratchet.
And she's like, Oh, cute baby. Can't be related to you. And she like kind of scoffs at him and turns
Just
around.
a bitch out of nowhere. Why are you doing that? And then he fucking stabs her in the throat with a fork, and it's through that CCTV footage. And I like this scene a lot again because it's all up to the imagination because it's real grainy on the CCTV footage, and then it's just like
you could tell he's grinding that fork into her neck.
Absolutely. And then there's there's no sound. It's just the sirens of the alarm. That's so good.
I just do not like
Love
that. I think every other scene, Michael had a plastic fork.
Yeah.
Why at this time did they feel the need to give him a metal one?
Metal fork because they do
and
that.
why would they give him a metal one in the first place if he's in there for killing 3 people?
It was an inside job because that nurse was a bitch to everybody. That's my headcanon, all
They
right?
did on purpose.
In the theatrical cut, the nurse just says, cute baby, and that's it. And then Michael kills her. And I guess Rob Zombie was like, I don't like that. So then Rob Zombie put that back in. And then after that, it flash forwards 15 years. Michael's a fucking wildebeest now. He's Bigfoot. He's Sabretooth. He's whatever. He does have some big ass feet. We'll get to that later though. He's hanging out in his room, and old fucking Chuckle fucking Jerry fucking come in and rape that girl, and Michael just like, I guess he like breaks one of their necks. I guess when he throws them into the table, and then he slams Lou Temple's head against the wall, and it just pops. Not like explicitly, it's just like a little boop. And that took a lot of takes apparently because the blood gag never worked the way they wanted it to, and then it finally did. And Michael kills him, and he kills those 2 other guards off screen.
Kills the receptionist.
The receptionist. I guess he cuts her throat.
He cut her throat.
And then he kills poor Danny Trejo.
That was good to you, Mikey.
My poor man, my poor boy. Danny Trejo didn't deserve that. Honestly, I was telling Justin this when we were watching it. If I was Danny Trejo, fuck a job. Because I'd lose my job if I did this. I'd just let Michael out. I wouldn't. I just found 2 bodies. I think one of the dudes was disemboweled. Like, I'm not going to fucking. What? Why am I going to try to put him back? I'm going to be like, all right, Mikey, I was good to you. I'm going to be extra good. I'm going to let you out, all right? Fucking book me for accessory to murder. I don't give a shit. All right, just fucking. I'm not risking my life over this. But he like drowns him, and then he smashes a TV on his head. But you don't see it because what happened was when Tyler Mane picked up a real fucking TV because he's a goddamn monster, and the TV just fell. It fell out of his hands immediately because it was on a platform, so it slid off and it broke. And Rob Zombie's like, we don't want to worry about finding another one, so we just compensated for it. He's like, that's why it just cuts to black. He's like, because we couldn't, because he dropped the TV. And I'm like, damn. But yeah, so that's how Danny Trejo dies. And then after that, he goes home. Does he kill anybody?
Well, first he's on the way home, then he meets Joe Grizzly.
Big Joe Grizzly. Played by, what was his name? It's going to bother me. Hold on. I got to know his name. I got to know his name.
It's conveniently the same size shoes and clothing as Michael.
Hey, man, we don't talk about that, all right? It's he's played by what was his name? Oh, where are you, Big Joe? Ken Foree.
He's in other Rob Zombie movies,
He's
too.
a big man. So is Tyler Mane. Tyler Mane was in Devil's Rejects as well. But he's a big man, and he's just taking a shit looking at some of the most explicit pornography I've ever seen in a magazine, at least in an actual movie, I mean. Not in like a porno, I mean like in a movie. Because it was just like explicit. Anyway, sorry, Mom. Anyway, so he's looking at this while he's taking a shit, which also, why would you do that? That's like the last time that's the last like place I'd ever want to be aroused is on the fucking toilet while I'm taking a shit. And he talks about how he ate like Mexican food beforehand. I'm like, buddy, why are you looking at this while you're shitting out Mexican food of all things? My guy, what is wrong? Whatever. And he sees Michael's fucking dirty ass feet, and he quotes Cool Hand Luke and says, what we have here is failure to communicate. And then he pulls his pants up because I guess he didn't have to shit that bad. And he pulls out a knife and he tries to fight Michael, and Michael just fucking like slams his. They break a fucking stall because Michael's just slamming him against it, and then Michael just stabs him like 2 times and he dies.
He probably stabbed him more off screen considering how much blood was there a lot of when we cut back.
And then he dresses up as him and fucks off to Haddonfield. Tom Sawyer plays. Because why not?
Well, that's playing while he pulls into the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wait, we forgot to mention. While Michael goes and kills Judith, Don't Fear the Reaper. She's listening to Don't Fear the Reaper.
She is listening to Don't Fear the Reaper. Yeah, and I do like that scene. And then they played Mr. Sandman when Michael's in Haddonfield.
Oh, when it cuts to Laurie's house.
Yeah, when it cuts to Laurie's house.
For the unfortunate bagel.
And I kind of like that. The unfortunate bagel. I kind of like that version of Mr. Sandman. But then after that, he steals Myers. He steals Judas' headstone.
So the next kill would be that poor coyote. Ripped to him.
Yeah, ripped to the coyote that he crucifies. Jesus Christ.
I guess that's the dog kill of the movie.
I guess, yeah. And then what happens after that? After that is when it gives that trick or treat title card, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes to everything else. He kills.
We just get the in between scenes of Laurie and Linda and Annie talking all their shit.
Yeah, and then Linda and Bob, classic Bob, are banging in the Strode house. Why the fuck?
The Myers house.
Whatever. I'm gonna say it's technically shut up. Anyway, so
Myers.
So. Yeah, I can't imagine being a teenager and being like, yeah, I know people were horrifically murdered in this house and nothing gets me hornier. I can't even fucking imagine.
It was just a vacant place to drink.
What the they have a van. They could fuck in the back of the van, Justin. Why do they fuck in a dusty ass old house where people died? I'm not a teenager anymore. I don't know. I wasn't a teenager then. Actually, I was 13, but still, I was 12. Wait, I was 12. I was 12. But still, it's like, why? Why would you do that? I wouldn't fucking do that. That's weird.
This movie had more explicit nudity than American Pie.
It was pretty, yeah. Like you see a lot of poor Linda. I hope she was okay with that. I hope she was not forced in any way to do any of that. But Bob was originally going to be killed in the van. There's an alternate scene of him getting killed in the van, which I guess Rob opted to just do it the old school way. And
we get the classic kill.
We get the classic with the head tilt. I don't know how the fuck Linda doesn't hear it this time, though, because...
She's on the phone.
True. Yeah.
Girls hear nothing while they're on the phone.
Well, but he stabs him against the wall, and to do it, they had harness, not a harness, but like I guess holsters that the actor put his arms on. So he just had like bruised armpits because they had to keep doing take after take, and he was just hanging there, and it looks so painful, or it sounded so painful. And then Michael does his head tilt, classic. And then he dresses up like the ghost, and he looks substantially different. Rob Zombie talked about how he's like, it's a good thing because the guy that plays Bob and Michael are both like really tall, so you could buy that. And I'm like, but Michael's fucking wide.
Yeah.
Tyler Mane is a broad-shouldered man, and he looks
thick.
He looks comically bigger. Like I almost laughed because he looks significantly bigger than fucking Bob did when he had the ghost.
I think that's why they had him lean against the door frame.
Because he's just like, yeah, I'm
Here's
big.
your beer.
Here's your beer. And yeah, it's the same thing. She does the same, like anything, see anything you like. But this time she gets up and she's just like butt ass naked.
Full ass naked.
And she takes the beer, and Michael takes the sheet off and chokes her to death.
He didn't take the sheet off.
He did. He takes the sheet off, and then he doesn't stab her. Because remember, you get that shot that looks like the poster from Halloween 2018?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he chokes her from behind with one hand, and he just chokes her, and then my laptop wasn't charging. Charging now? Yes, they are. Okay, there we go. And he's choking her, and she dies, of course. And but like while he's choking her, there's this shot that looks just like the poster for Halloween 2018. Like it's the mask is in the same position, the lighting is the same, everything. And he kills her, and he takes her body down to the basement for the future, basically. And then after that, we get a shot of Laurie sitting with her parents at the front door doing trick-or-treat shit. And Laurie leaves to go babysit Tommy. And then Laurie's mom goes in to start the fireplace or whatever. And then Laurie's dad's just hanging out, and Michael just fucking
just brutally runs up to him, slashes his throat, and pushes
like
him through the door.
in one fluid motion. And then he chokes I think he breaks her neck, but then when you see her body, she's got like a throat cut. So I don't know. He puts her on the couch and then he fucking just leaves.
Well, as we learned from Halloween Kills, breaking the neck is not the end of the thing.
I'm trying to think of what you're talking about.
Dude.
I'm trying to remember.
The
Oh,
yeah.
oh, yeah, that's right. Oh my god. Ah, yeah, that's right. Woo! Yeah, can't wait to talk about that. That's a rough one, man. That movie's a lot more gruesome than I remember. Anyway, after that,
Cameron, that was his name.
after that, we go to Annie drops off little Lindsay, who's just as dead-eyed as the original Lindsay was, at Laurie's for a little bit so she could fuck her boyfriend or whatever. And Annie actually almost gets to do it this time, unlike in the original. But Michael's just creeping in the back, and that's the other thing I love about this movie.
No, you forgot the shot of before Andy takes
Yeah,
Lindsay over,
where he's in the back.
where he's standing behind her.
Yeah, dude, I know. That's what I was gonna say. I love that Michael's just in the background for so many of these shots, just hanging out, just like wait. I fucking it makes
Even
me
in broad daylight, he was in the background.
oh, it's so good.
Like when
I
Laurie
love
walks
it.
home from school,
I
you
love
just
it.
see him behind
You
her.
just see him strolling. You know, he's just walking. But yeah, he creeps out from behind, and you know, they're getting down. Not really, not yet. And then Michael's just like, "How dare you? That's Jamie Lloyd. You can't do
My
that.
niece, motherfucker.
You can't do that. You can't do this. Daniel, you can't do that." And then he picks him up and just fucking stabs him in the gut and throws him across the fucking room like he's nothing. And then Danielle Harris tries to run out. She gets dragged back in. Michael he cuts her a bunch, and then he like drags her across the floor and cuts her even more, leaves her at the front door. And Laurie tells Tommy and Lindsay, "Well, I gotta go drop Lindsay off, Tommy. So you gonna be okay by yourself?" And Tommy's like, "Yeah." So then
Be good, Tommy Wammy.
So then, yeah.
She makes all those stupid kid noises.
Yeah, then Laurie takes Lindsay home, or not home, but to Annie's. She opens the door, and you find, and I'm glad Michael Poe's his body's in this one, because the first thing they see is Paul, Annie's boyfriend, hanged with a pumpkin on his head, which was a real person under that. That was not a dummy. That was a real person that they just put on a harness and hanged. I think it was a stuntman for the initial hanging, because I think they filmed that, and then it was the actual actor for the rest of it. And then Annie's just on the floor all cut up. Poor Annie. She doesn't deserve any of this. And this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. I love this part so much when Annie's because Laurie goes to call 911 and the door just closes, like, and Michael's just like he was like sitting behind the crevice in between the door and the wall, and he just takes a step forward and looks at Annie, and all Annie does is all she can do is yell Laurie over and over again, but you don't know where Michael is because all the shots are just of Laurie and Annie, so you have no fucking idea where Michael is. And I love that he did that. I love, because he was talking in the commentary. He's like, I wanted to do something different. He's like, because the classic thing to do is to be like, she's calling Laurie, and then you see Michael behind Laurie while she's on the phone. He's like, but I kind of wanted to frame it in a way where you don't know where Michael is. He's like, and I think that makes it a lot scarier. And yeah, oh, it's so good. Mwah.
Well, before he does that, remember he pokes the body and
Yeah, he
makes
pokes
it swing.
because another thing that he mentioned is he wants Michael to seem like a big 10-year-old, and he kind of feels like that with his the way he carries himself and stuff. And yeah, he just like pushes Paul's body and like tilts his head as it like swings back and forth, and I'm like, you silly boy, you silly little man. And then Michael grabs Laurie. Laurie is able to escape him and runs home. Tommy and Lindsay are in there. Takes him upstairs to the tub. after Michael breaks through the door.
Before that, when she's like sitting there trying to lock the door, and the kids just start screaming, and it shoots up, and there's this giant fucking
because like I love that shot too, where you hear the door get like pushed against, and then the camera pans up, and Michael's just staring in, and he's just fucking giant. And that scream from Lindsay was genuine. That's the first time she had ever seen Michael in full costume, so that was like a genuine like, oh my god. And then he fucking just busts through the door like the goddamn Kool-Aid Man. Oh, I love it. He just fucking breaks through the door and he walks in and he's like fucking, oh, it's Christmas, Halloween time. I don't know why I said Christmas, but it's Halloween time. He starts singing "This Is Halloween." He doesn't do any of that. But Laurie takes Lindsay and Tommy upstairs into the bathroom. Michael hides while two cops come in. Michael stabs one against the glass door. And then the other one shoots him like in the shoulder, and he runs up to him and just like fucking, you hear him like rip something. He kills him, and then Michael just again breaks through the door like it's nothing, and just kidnaps Laurie. And she gets knocked out. I guess he just fucking pops her so that she shuts up. And then he, as Justin said, and then he takes her to a basement where we see Linda's body next to Judith's grave, which is where Michael then comes out, and he's all like, he drops his knife, gives Laurie the photo of him and her when they were little babies, and Laurie doesn't know what the fuck's going on, which is the right thing to think because she doesn't fucking know who Michael is. And then Michael takes his mask off. He looks all sad. He looks all sad, Michael. He just wants Laurie's approval. He wants to reunite, right? And then Laurie stabs him in the shoulder, in like the collarbone shoulder. And then she gets away. And again, Michael breaks through a real fucking wall. And Laurie runs out. She falls into the pool. Loomis comes out, shoots Michael a few times, and then they go into the police car. Michael drags Laurie out.
We get the classic, was that the boogeyman line?
Oh, yeah, which is probably going to be the beginning of this episode, too, just like it was for the first one. And she gets dragged out, and then Michael drops Laurie only to run up to Loomis after he's like, I failed you. And he, like, starts squishing Loomis's head, and you think he fucking kills him, because, like, Loomis is bleeding a bit. And Michael just, like, drags him into the house, but Loomis is still alive, because Laurie... realizes that he's still alive when she touches him. She takes his gun. Dr. Loomis tries his damnedest to give Laurie a little bit of time. So he tries to hold Michael back, and Michael's like, pfft. He just fucking keeps walking. And then Michael pushes Laurie, or Laurie's like in the ceiling. She eventually falls down. She looks all fucked up. And then Michael runs at her and like knocks her off a balcony, and the stunt actress for this actually broke her leg doing this stunt, and that's why it just cuts to black and you don't see the impact because she broke her leg, so she couldn't do the other stunt where they like fall and like hit the ground. And then we get the last part of the movie, which, if you're watching this for the first time, you're like, yeah, he kills her, or she kills him. She doesn't. She misses. So she's like trying to shoot Michael, but there's a lot of empty bullets, a lot of empty shells. And then before she shoots him, the last time Michael puts his hand up and like grabs her hand, and Rob Zombie was like, I wanted to leave it ambiguous to her, like, is he like trying to steady her aim? Is he trying to like push her away? And I'd like to think it's the former. And then she pulls the trigger and just starts screaming.
Blood splatters up too.
Yeah, blood splatters out and she starts screaming, and then it like goes to like home video footage of Michael and Laurie when they're little babies. And
that's the movie.
And then Enter Sandman starts playing after some more shots of the trees.
No, it doesn't.
No, after the shots of the trees it does. And after the main theme.
Oh, Enter Sandman.
Yeah, not Enter Sandman. Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman. I was like, what are you talking about?
Listen, man, it's been a long day, all right? But yeah, that's Halloween. That's all the kills. I think they're all very effective, honestly.
In their brutish nature.
They're very brutal, and not a lot of them are very explicit, which is impressive. Too bad there's a rape scene though. That's really the worst part of the movie for me. But I think I really like that whole sequence with Annie and Laurie. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
Just because, again, Danielle Harris sells that shit.
She's still a scream queen. Yep. And and then what's the other part? And then I really like that groundskeeper death and the way he kills all the bodyguards in the theatrical version. Those are really cool too. But the groundskeeper death is awesome just because of that camera shot, that quick pan up that makes it look like
I think that shot was in a trailer.
I think it was too because
I remember seeing it.
It looks like something you'd see in Grindhouse, like the movie, like in one of those fake trailers. It looks like that, and that's why I'm like, oh, it's so good. But yeah, final thoughts times, Justin. Final time for the final thoughts, Justin. I really like this. I'm surprised I liked it so much. I don't think it's like. It's nowhere like, of course, it's not going to touch the original, but as like a reimagining, I think it's pretty solid. It's like, you know what I'm going to compare it to? It's like the reimaginings from Resident Evil 2 to the remake that came out not too long ago. It's got enough of the original in it for me to be like, cool, but it also reimagines a bunch of parts and I guess, quote unquote, updates it in a way that's not terrible.
Well, you could say that more about RE3 remake.
RE3, yeah, more than RE2. RE3.
It's a great game. Fuck anyone who talks shit about it.
It is a fun game. It's short, makes it plenty replayable. I don't like that I can't, like, fucking defend myself whenever somebody grabs me. But whatever. It's fine. Justin likes it. So
I beat it 3 times.
Justin beat it 3 times. Anyway, so, yeah, I would compare it to that. Because there's some stuff that's missing that I would like to see in it. It has a different vibe. Because like the RE3 remake more so than RE2 remake definitely has a different vibe, and but I think it's still good for what it is because it's at the end of the day it's a reimagining more than a remake, and I really appreciate that Rob Zombie just did his own fucking thing, and he did say though that it was hell working with the Weinsteins, which is not a surprise because they're pieces of shit, but he said it was hell because like. They kept trying to get him to make it closer to the original, and he was like, I don't want to do that. He's like, I want to do it this way. And they didn't want him to put Danny Trejo's death in there specifically because they're like, that's unnecessary. And Rob Zombie was like, no, I need y'all to see how terrible of a person he is. A similar thing that happened in The Sopranos where David Chase was going to have a scene where Tony killed a rat, like an informant. And HBO was like, you can't do that. And then David Chase was like, Tony's not a good man. He's a fucking mobster. Like, I don't want the audience to think he's the good guy because he isn't. And that's, so I appreciate it when directors do stuff like that. And outside of the fucking awful ass rape scene, I really like this movie. The dialogue's kind of stinky sometimes, but you know what?
You're not here for that.
But it's Rob Zombie. I'm here for the way it's shot, the vibe of it overall. I'm here for Michael because I really like how he's portrayed. I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought I was gonna fucking hate his portrayal, but you know what? It's a different take on him, and I really like fucking giant ass fucking wildebeest Michael. Again, Tyler Mane should play fucking Jason Voorhees. He would be perfect. I think it would be fantastic. Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, I like this a lot more than I thought I would. I think it's pretty good. I'm very, very surprised that I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Justin?
With all the classic horror movie remakes and reimaginings, whatever, aside from the Texas Chainsaw ones, this is the only one I like.
Those Texas Chainsaw ones are really good, yeah. Yeah, because Nightmare on Elm Street fucking sucked. Friday the 13th is good, but it was but
fine.
It's nothing to
It didn't try anything new.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's what I appreciate about this one, is that it tried to do something new. And, it doesn't come up, it comes up short in a couple places, like with some of the characterizations. Specifically Loomis, but I think it's solid, And, but yeah, what else were you going to say?
I like it. I've never disliked this movie because I watched this one after being obsessed with 4 and 5, so I was kind of coming off the more aggressive Michael.
Yeah.
And then, of course, being the angry, violent, loving teen I was at the time, it's like, yeah, this is my kind of movie.
Yeah.
And then,
And then you watch Devil's Rejects and you were like, okay, maybe not. Maybe not that much.
no, I was fine with Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, no, Devil's Rejects is all right.
It kind of made me expand further into more gruesome movies, I guess. So, original Halloween started my horror love. The reimagined Halloween started my more gruesome movie love.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because after this, I saw some shit.
But yeah, I was dreading getting to this movie, and I'm very pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. Like, I don't know, man, some of those shot compositions and like the way he was able to build tension in some of those scenes, despite it being like I don't know, a Rob Zombie movie, really caught me off guard. Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way he's gonna be able to like build up that same tension that was in the original, but it's a different kind of tension. You know, it's I don't know, like it's hard for me to explain. But like
the whole part with Laurie in the ceiling, like I hate that for so many reasons because I'm claustrophobic. I hate being in tight spaces, so just seeing her there bothers me. And then just Michael just brutally ramming that bar into the ceiling.
So and like again, I think the reason I don't mind this brutal Michael is because I watched Halloween Kills and even Halloween 2018, where Michael is a lot more brutal than he was in the original. Like, because in the original, he's just, like, stabbing and choking. And in fucking remake, he's, like, fucking ripping teeth out and fucking breaking jaws and stabbing people through the throat and shit. And then he kills. Woo! It kills. He's fucking unhinged. So I think I'm glad I watched Halloween Kills before this, and that I enjoy Halloween Kills, because I think that kind of set me up.
Which is the point of Halloween Kills, but I'll fucking get to that when we get to that movie, because I have a lot of opinions about Kills.
Boy, do I too. I do too. I can't wait to talk about Halloween Kills. But yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween, not bad. Not bad, Justin.
I just love that you feel the impact of everything Michael does.
Like, whether it's breaking through a door or fucking stabbing somebody, you feel it, man.
He was like, ow, stop. He's dead.
Yeah,
he's already dead.
My God. It's yeah. I cannot believe I fucking like this movie now. What has happened to me, man? I was in college a couple years ago. I had straight A's. I had a 4.0 GPA. Now I like Limp Bizkit and fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween. What happened to me, Justin? What happened to me? How far I have fallen. And now I got a fucking podcast. How far have I fallen? No, I really like this movie. All jokes aside, I can't believe I like it this much. And I really enjoyed watching all the special features too. That documentary, the day-by-day shoots, a lot of cool stuff in there. Too much for me to even like talk about or even remember, honestly. But there's a lot of cool stuff in there. It's cool to see all the actors talk about how excited they are to be in the movie. It's cool to see Rob Zombie be passionate about it, you know. And that's the thing. Like, I know Halloween 2 is gonna suck, right? But if the special features have him being passionate about it, like I kind of feed off of that energy. You know, I think me liking this movie it reminds me of me liking Saint Anger by Metallica, because the reason I like Saint Anger is because I watched Some Kind of Monster, which is the documentary on it. And the documentary is so good that I think it just made me like, it willed me to like the fucking album. And I think I think the same thing might have happened a little bit here, but I think even if I hadn't watched all the special features, I think I still would have dug it. Because it's just a fun. It's not fun, actually. Let me take that back. It's not a fun movie, but it's a very well made like horror movie.
I'll definitely watch it over anything that came after 5.
Yeah, honestly, I'd put this over pretty much everything that comes after 4. I know you got a soft spot for 5, but I don't like 5. But I've always, my buddy Mark, what did he say? He said one of his favorite lines was, "It's a decent slasher, but I'll never watch it again." and that's how I feel about 5. But this one, I'll watch this one. I'll watch 4 again. You know, I liked it a lot. I'll put this one over fucking, I don't know. I think I like this one more than Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, which is surprising. But I don't really like the original Halloween 2 for whatever reason.
Because it's boring?
Yeah, and because Halloween 2018 exists. That's really the only reason I think I don't like it. The main reason I don't like it, sorry. But yeah, good movie. Good. I'm surprised I liked it. I cannot believe I fucking like this movie. What is wrong with me? I was talking so much shit And here I am being humbled by both 4 and Rob Zombie's Halloween. I thought I was going to hate both of them, and I end up liking both of them quite a bit. So, yeah. Next week's Halloween 2, or later this week. I don't know. It's Sunday. I'm probably going to put this up tomorrow because I'm fucking tired, and I got to go to work tomorrow. But yeah, we'll probably put up Halloween 2, I don't know, Thursday or something. Maybe Friday. I'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Is next.
And it's bad from what I can remember.
It's bad.
I don't know if the commentary and special features are going to redeem it. Probably not. But I'll be willing to find out. So that's thanks again for listening. We got 5 whole subscribers on YouTube. That's crazy.
Wait, before it's over, as we're getting closer to the end of Halloween series, we got, 3 more movies left?
Yes.
After that, we're going to take a break from a major series and just go for some one-offs. But I had a thought.
Yes.
Our little community is growing. We got some goblins out there.
Little bitty goblins.
I want y'all to be part of this.
Absolutely.
So find our YouTube channel. Subscribe if you want to. Leave a comment with a suggestion of a one-off movie. Not necessarily anything from a series, but give us something you've seen. Maybe we haven't seen it or heard of it.
And even if we have, we'll give it a watch. We'll add it to the list because we got a whole list of one-offs, and then we're going to do RNG, figure out which ones we're going to do.
And if we pick yours, we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
Because we want our little goblin army to grow.
Absolutely. And you could also, our email is on the About on the YouTube channel. You can also DM me on Twitter at Mustachio Cage, MOUSTACHIO Cage. You can DM me there if you got any movie suggestions.
You could even go find my personal Facebook and
you could find Justin's Facebook, I guess. I don't know. Don't do that. But please don't do that. I know Justin says he doesn't care, but don't. Okay? Don't. But yeah, DM me on Twitter. Leave us a comment on YouTube. Send us an email if you can get that. I think it's Gore Goblins. Is it 78? I think it's Gore Goblins 78. Hold on, let me see. I'm just gonna give you the fucking email now. I don't know why I'm saying give us an email. No, I'm just gonna give you the email now. Fuck it. Hold on. What is it? I'm doing Justin. Keep him entertained while I figure this out. GoreGoblins1978@gmail.com. That is our email if you want to either sponsor us or if you want to sponsor us or if you want to give us any ideas. Feel free. Give us a whole fucking list. I don't care. But we're going to do, I think, 4 one-offs is what we decided. And then we're doing one of my favorites. I think it's one of Justin's favorites too. We're doing Evil Dead. I can't fucking wait to do Evil Dead. And we might even have a special guest. Not a celebrity, but a special one. So, who knows? But that's going to be in like August or something. So, yeah. That's what we got coming up. But yeah, feel free. Send us a whole list. Mom, I know you're listening to this. If you remember any weird fucking horror movies from the 70s or 80s, tell me. Anyway. But yeah, so Halloween 2's coming up. Follow me on Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us wherever the fuck you want to follow us. It doesn't matter. We're just happy you're supporting us. We didn't even think we'd get more than like fucking 10 views on everything, and we're very happy with the way things have been progressing. And we just want this community to grow, like Justin said. But yeah, that's all we got for today, huh, Justin?
Yep.
That's it. Anyway.
Boom.
How do we end this? I don't know. I'm bad at ending these things. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so we'll see you later this week.
In the words of April Ludgate from Parks and Rec, let's just meow really loudly into the mic for 5 seconds and then walk away.
You can do that. I'm not doing that, all right? Because I don't want to meow. I don't want people to have a soundbite of me meowing. I don't want to see, okay, Justin did it. Thank you. Go to sleep. Eat your greens. And we'll see you later this week.
Not goblin greens.
Not goblin greens. Don't eat other goblins. Don't be a cannibal unless we cover Cannibal Holocaust. Then you can be a cannibal. But we'll see you later this week. Halloween 2. Bye-bye.
Bye.